Well, hello and welcome. And they say, Ejabo, Ejabo, Ejabedu. We have cried, we have jammed and stamped our feet. Indeed, I have championed, well, I wouldn't say champion, but I have lamented a lot that unless we all come together and have one plan, it's impossible for the nation to move forward. Indeed, there aren't many nations that in their beginnings divided as much as we did and still succeeded. Somewhere along the line, we need to come together. So indeed, if it's going to be our development plan that brings us together, so regardless of our division, we need to follow it. It's all well and good, and we need to accept it. Now, one major hurdle is owning that plan, because indeed, in the past, there's been GDSDA, GRSDA, and so much big English that the average Joe just doesn't want to be part of it. And you know what? Even the likes of us who claim not to be too ignorant, sometimes the words are so big, we shun away from it. And they bring you documents this big. Is this development plan going to have a nickname, something that we own, we don't see as MPP or NDC to move us forward? Because indeed, it looks as if we've been handed a lifeline and we need to grab it and move forward. How do we do it? With the level of ignorance in the system. And you and I know that our politicians depend on our ignorance to win campaigns. I'll give you chalawati, I'll give you oil, I'll give you a bag of rice. And that's what they depend on to win. But now we need to show all that to go to people who are deep down says, nope, I don't need a bag of rice. Come and fix the road or come and put a school here. That's what we need to make this plan work. Are we ready? Indeed, I have with me in the studio Reverend Dr. Kwabena Opunifrimpong, General Secretary, Christian Council. He's been the length and breadth of Africa, championing this cause, not only for Ghana, but indeed Africa, looking at the Africa we want at 2063. So he knows what he's talking about. And then my own brother, Dr. Ishmael Aka, Head of Policy Unit and Energy Policy Advisor, ASEP. Can this development plan work with the level of energy we have in this country? He is going to educate us on that. I will take a break, and then when I come back, my name is Nana Sakwao. This is PM Express. Well, thank you very much for staying at the National Development Plan that indeed any discerning Ghanaian has called and called and called and called for and says, look, forget about your manifestos or plug your manifestos into a national plan, because that's going to be our lifeline. As we've called on South Korea, Malaysia, Singapore, we've always named them as an examples. And each time you say, they tell you that they had a plan. I think South Korea was called from despair to hope. That's what they named their plan, from despair to hope. And one after the other, they built their nation. So we have now come out with theirs. I don't know what the name is yet, but I'm sure it will have a good name. The high and mighty today met and they discussed this and they launched it. The president launched it. Let's hear what Dr. Kwesi Boche said on it, and then we'll set our premises on that.
The importance of a long-term national development plan to guide the strategic development and transformation of a country is not often recognized. Yet evidence around the world has shown that in the post-war period, and in the developing world especially, countries that have achieved spectacular successes in development and high income growth have tended to be those countries that had formal or informal national development plans and had pursued them with some degree of consistency. Development economists and social scientists have for long noted that at independence, Ghana's level of development was broadly similar to those of Malaysia, Taiwan, and South Korea, but that Ghana has lagged behind while these other countries have flourished and achieved high income growth, we have achieved great successes in building our nation. We have gone wayward on occasion, but we must repose some trust in the eminent good sense of our people and our own yearning for faster development. It is this quest, it is this inspiration that has driven us at the NDPC to launch this process, and I do very much hope that you will all share our faith in the sanctity of our nation's destiny. I thank you.
Well, so we have known all along that great nations indeed came to a table one day and had a national development plan, whether it was formal or informal. Let me start with you, Reverend, with an unfair question. Has it been a long time coming? Has it taken too long?
Yeah, let me first say good evening to our charity viewers and congratulate ourselves as a people, Ghanaians, especially the government and the commissioners, the National Development Planning Commission. Today, to me, I was in the room beginning till the last second. I felt very encouraged as a Ghanaian, and this meeting, today's meeting, gave me some sense of hope. Whether it has taken us too long to be here, thank God today we've started a journey. And to me, that is the most important thing. You know, this is not the first time as a people we are rolling a program like this. We've done it before. Today, I mean, we trace the history, not even from, the recent years, but from Goggisbeck and all that. Our first president, Nkrumah, and all that. Even the various councils, military councils, you know, they all roll out very relevant program, you know, Vision 2020 and all that. I think the real challenge is issues of ownership, sustainability, and keeping the faith, you know, that we don't get a point, especially if it happened that we are succeeding, that somebody, somewhere, being an individual, group of individuals, don't give us the impression that a group want to hijack, you know. For instance, today to me was a great success, but we should keep it as such. It's national success. It should never be a party success.
Dr. Aka, let me bring you in. Do you think, on the same question, do you think it's taking us too long? I mean, Gordon Goggisbeck, I think he had a 10-year plan. You know, started with electricity, then telephone wires, then roads, and then schools. You know, he had a plan. Kwame Nkrumah had his plan. And then the rest, you couldn't see anything. Then Achampong came, and then, you know, you realize that, look, he was going the agricultural way and the industrial way, and you could feel it in the system. Now it's 2015, we're coming back to the table to form a plan. Has it taken too long?
Yeah, I think that I will support what Reverend said. I think almost every government we've had brought a plan. From Goggisbeck, through Nkrumah, through Achampong, Jerry, Kufuor, Tamils, Mahama, they all came with plans. The difference has been that some of these are more like a little bit short-term, a little bit ad hoc, and even in the sense where they are a little medium, if there's change of government, these plans cease to exist. And I think that's why we should have a long-term, a sustainable one that is national in character, that we all buy into, so that even if government changes, we will still continue to. So I think that for plans, we've always had them. The problem has been sustainability from one government to the other.
Reverend, so are we going to have big brains locked in a room somewhere and they will come out and say, well, this is the way we are going? Or are we going to have a consultative portion where we go to Ashanti region and ask them, go to Volta region and ask them, go there and then compile it and then form a plan?
Let me admit, I'm not a member of the commission, but what my response to the question you have just asked will come from what I have heard from them. People like Dr. Nimoy Thompson, who is the Director General. My understanding, initially, we weren't sure of today's meeting, that they're going to release a plan. Have they cooked something? Now, today I became convinced that we are just initiating a process. It's the first step of the journey. So they did not come to the meeting with a plan, but they said that we are starting a process, a framework. What I heard from, again, the commission is that they are going to put up a team. And at a point, he said that even they were initially wanted to pick individuals from the various parties, but then some of the parties requested that, no, give us 2 tickets, which he gave me impression that they would accept. And so they will put up a team like that, and then they will be meeting interest groups, going to regions. I also gathered that even as we work towards a long-term plan for the whole country, they expect regions and districts also to have their plan. Now, you can't do that if you don't touch base, if you don't get to the district level, if you don't extend your consensus building to the regions and even other interest bodies. So this is what I gathered. Maybe Dr. Nimoy Thompson will be the best person to just affirm whether I got him right or wrong. But to me, today, we just started a journey. And today marks also...
production, can we see if we can get Dr. Nimoy Thompson to just clarify that? Oh, I see. I think we are having challenges with the phone. Otherwise, we would have tried to...
Yeah, because what I have said, I pick that from him. But being what this program is all about and the extent you cover, he may want to chip in that, yes, you got me right, or no, yeah, I want some affirmation from him. But the question again you've asked, you see, we need to renew our hope as a people. 41 years ago, you see, this process, the journey we started today, is for the next 40 years. By that time, will be 100 years, in our independence. But 41 years ago, 4th August, 41 years ago, we as a people also embark on a very important issue. How we drive. We're changing. In that was time we did it wasn't a simple thing. It was a complex thing. Some people were making mistakes, but we were able to, through education and involvement, participation, and all that, we were able to have that smooth transition. It seems to me that if we will apply, the participation and involvement of everybody, and all those who are showing interest also will be, including those who will come even with some level of criticism. We should be ready for that. Because even if you put up a team to go around and seek opinion and all that, and you are not ready for what they tell you, it's like you know what you want, and yes, I have heard you, but just I will not, and so what? We know what we want. Then whether you go around to seek other people's thoughts, opinion or not, at the end of the day, the question of ownership will still be hanging. So for ownership, everybody, including children, including young people, the disabled, everybody, farmers, illiterate, Ghanaians in and outside the country, voices, other people's voices, minority, majority, political, professional researchers, and all that, voices must be heard. How we will do that? With modern day technology. I don't know the committee they will put up and how they will work. But if you want to hear people's voices today, it's possible.
Rev, I'll stay with you. When they were doing the constitutional review, they went out, they heard everybody. Everybody says, look, we want our DCs elected. They came back and said, no. As for that, you can't have that. So then it's like, why did you come and ask me? Are they going to, I know you can't answer for them, but I hope.
But I hope we don't get there. In fact, the president made to me a very important statement today that we should not repeat the mistakes we have made over the years. And for this statement coming from the president, for me as a Christian advocate, was very relaxing, and not just because the president has said it. We need also to accept it, that we have made mistakes, and we as a people, we will not repeat it. Political parties and all that, because like you said, if you go around the whole countries for all these consultations, and then you get a white paper that will just pick and choose. Next time when you call people to sit down and talk, they will come all right. But faith, confidence in the system may not be as strong as today. To me, as I was in the room and I was there early enough, you could feel the sense of nationalism, patriotism. We are ready to work. Let us sustain that. We should not do anything that will get back to what the president said today, that we should not repeat the mistakes we have made over the years.
Doc, two doctors, isn't it? Should this plan be in order of priority, that we're going to start with education, then we'll move to agric and move to energy, we'll start with energy and move this, or are we going to say, look, we're going to start everything all at once? How does it work? And I want to know where you fit energy in such a plan.
Okay, I think that, let me use, two scenarios. I think the plan has a form of hierarchy. We have the 40 years. Mm-hmm. And within the 40 years, we have 10 years, which Parliament will review. And even we have annual review by the National Development Planning Commission. So it is not like we are planning for a section. It's a national plan. Energy, agriculture, and so many other sectors will be considered. That is one. The another part is that is why we are going to do the consultation. People should own the plan. So let us know the challenges, not only what the politicians see, not only what academia see, what those at the down there, the district level, farmers, everybody see. I think that we should know. If I should prioritize, I will look at agriculture, I will look at education, and I will look at energy.
Remember, during the days of Operation Feed Yourself, I was very, very young. I planted cocoa. I don't know what the English name is. The cocoa yam that you plant in, really stodgy areas. Mm-hmm. I planted corn, and everybody's house that you went, why did we all buy into Operation Feed Yourself? What was it about Operation Feed Yourself that everybody started, backyard garden and stuff? What did they do that we can emulate today?
The slogan itself, and maybe one of the things quickly the organizers, the commission must work on, it's a catchword. Operation Feed Yourself. It was a common slogan in schools. And, if you go to the rural areas, Operation Feed Yourself. If you go to higher level, professionals were backyard gardening, and the excitement, and the philosophy was right, that we can feed ourselves as a people. So the slogan was right, and the philosophy, we could easily buy into it. Not so much complex, technical, academic thing that, the African Union is doing similar thing. And now the catchword is the Africa we want. The Africa we want. What is the Africa we want?
Say about the documents behind the scenes.
Yes.
Just give me a catchphrase.
Yes. I want to be careful, you know. But somebody must quickly work out a slogan that will come with a philosophy. And that must not be so complex that only those belonging to academia, you know, you need to think through because it can make sense to you. It must be part of our common you know, language. You say market, something that market women and everybody. You go to the barbering shop and it's a catchword. Meanwhile, it's a slogan that deep philosophy. You know, we need to work on that. And those days also, they had this information service van. And I think the public awareness, they were going around, so many things have changed. They were doing this cine, you know, with the information service and projectors, and then you go. So they visualize also, so the slogan and the philosophy, you could see it. You could see farm products, you know, you see military people. And in schools, and that issue was also pushed into education.
School
so
farms.
A Greek or farming was not punishment.
No, school farm.
You know, yeah, school farm. And we were happy.
School farm.
And my school, they will harvest corn and we share. I mean, they will give some to teachers and other, but class by class, you pick one or two. So there were direct benefit. Again, it wasn't just a slogan, it wasn't just a philosophy, but direct beneficiaries. You know, so you close from school and you were happy carrying something home. You see, so the evidence must also be with the people, and that is why we must. You know, those days we didn't have political parties. It was one, you know, one council, military thing. Though, even though some people did not like the council, I mean, Ghana Bar Association and others, but at least they were all. They could easily identify with Operation Feed Yourself. And to me, that is the challenge of the current administration. They should carry all of us along. We shouldn't get to a point where others will find any good reason for discontinuity. You see? So we need to work all of that. But as we move on and as we are celebrating, nobody should give us any good reason for discontinuity.
You see, if I were on the board, I would find some technical people to find out actually which year we are in terms of our development today. Because I think we are somewhere in 1985. If you look at the percentage of people who are able to access education, health, electricity compared to the population, I think we are somewhere in 1985, you know, in terms of development, developmental date. Now, we are looking at 40 years. So is 40 years going to now bring us to, you know, 2015, or is 20 years going to bring us there? Because by that time, God knows what technology will be like outside the world. So what is this plan aiming to achieve?
I think that we, as Reverend said, we want to see the Ghana we want. Ghana where we have access to electricity, reliable supply. Ghana where every child is educated. Ghana where we have access to health services. Ghana where we have good roads and infrastructure. So this is the Ghana we want. I think that, as I said, we've had some plans before. We've reviewed some of these plans. In fact, even international ones, the Millennium Development Goals, recently the Sustainable Development Goals and all those things. Ghana, we achieved some of them too we couldn't. So what I believe is that it all boils down to consultation. Let us go to the grassroots. Let us get everybody involved. Let us look at the development needs today and plan, have the resources, have the vision and goals, bring people involved, and let's see how we achieve it. It doesn't matter so much. I think that some areas Ghana is performing well, but there are so many other areas we are not doing well. So what are some of the areas and what can we do to achieve what we want to achieve?
With energy, let me stay with energy. Where are we now, you know, as energy, and where do we need to be in 40 years' time?
Yeah, I think that where we are now in energy is not good. We haven't 24 hours off, we have 12 hours light, which is not good for development. I mean, industries need energy to transform goods and services to finished product. They have to employ people. So if they don't have, people are not getting jobs. We all need academia, the churches, we all need energy.
As scientists today met in the northern region to try and find a solution to the energy crisis.
Yeah.
And considering we've been in for, nearly 4 years, one would think, why are they now meeting? Is it not a bit too late?
Yeah, I don't think it is too late. I think that we've been in it for a long time. We've had two main challenges, and I think that's why we need the long-term development. One of them has been the ad hoc solutions and the emergency with which we come and announce even some of these solutions. So tomorrow this thing is happening, it will solve, and it doesn't happen. If we had a plan that, this is the challenge, this is the generation gap we are facing. Maybe we need 2,000 megawatts. We have 1,500 now. We need to have additional 500 for, say, a reserve margin. How do we achieve that? Is the government going to maybe pay ECG for ECG to pay VRA for them to invest in new thermal plants? Or are we going to rely on private investment? If we know the solution, then we push for it. But when it happened, we wanted, then let us get emergency budgets.
I like your trajectory where pay me, because VRA has been crying that, look, you owe me 1.4 billion.
Yeah.
VRA, I have never heard anywhere VRA saying that this problem is beyond us.
Yeah.
All they're saying is that I don't have the money to repair my equipment and buy crude.
Yeah.
So my big question is, now that we are bringing in this badge, then where does the badge get this crude from? Because it is the same money that VRA can get to buy the crude. So how does it work? I mean, being an energy man.
Yeah, I think that the badges, that's what we call emergency badges. The plan was that it was coming in, we get some, put some money in an escrow, it will come in, we get some. How we get the money, I think we were relying on some loans and other things to fuel it, emergency, for about 3 months while VRA and Co put things together.
No, but we are not short of install capacity.
Yeah. We're
just short of generation.
Yes. What I'm saying is that when the problem happened, we were not, we have install capacity. Then we have the generational capacity. I mean, the generation. So Akosombo Dam has a capacity to give us 1,020 megawatts. But it is giving us around 600.
Because we drained it.
Yes, but that one is not a matter of fuel. That is what I just want to explain to you.
No, that's because we didn't fix the other generators when they went down, and then we overused the dam.
Akosombo, I understand perfect. Even now, Akosombo should operate around 240 feet minimum. It is now around 237, and we are still operating it, which is very bad and may destroy. So the initial point is that, yes, ECG owes VRA. And the government owes, in fact, the total debt of ECG, the government owes about 56%. So pay ECG and ECG will pay VRA. They will do investment and expand and all that. That is good. I don't like the idea of emergency plants, not because we won't get the money to buy fuel, but because it will fix today and tomorrow they will take the plant away. If we don't put in any, it will be like borrowed generation. So we'll fix it now, we'll be happy. And these are just things we are going to rent. And we are paying so much for them. So why don't we do, say, 300 megawatt emergency? Why we concentrate on long-term solutions? Paying VRA to invest, building more gas-fired thermal plants, building LNG regasification plant. So we transport gas only in 2 ways, either through pipelines or LNG. We have the pipeline, Nigeria is disappointing us. So why don't we get a regasification plant so that we can import LNG? That will be another form, because that is cheaper than crude oil. So these are some of the things we should be looking at, and I think these are some of the reasons the long-term plan will be very important.
No, that's why I was asking, so that our priority and, let me use the word advisably, common sense. Because sometimes I think technicality just overtakes everything. That's why I was trying to ask you guys, if we need the money for the thing and we can't find it, why then do you go and bring another one? Then where does the money goes to? But Dr. Grace Bediakun was there today's national statistician. Let's hear what she says about the plan, because I think she has to play a major role if we are going to do any long-term planning. When after she speaks, we're going to find out how it will work without a national ID.
Because some of the issues he's raising are now being tackled.
And that's why there are people like yourself on board.
Exactly. The other thing is that National Development Planning Commission has first the Secretariat, and that is the technocrats, and then we have the commission, the commissioners, and these are experts, a mix of experts.
They're not politicians.
Regional representatives, some.
Well, I've always asked and called and demanded, and I'm sure, Doctor, you also do that. Once we haven't got a proper national ID together, can you plan anything for it to work?
Now, let me chip in something small that my brother was saying earlier on. I have realized that when you travel outside, almost any major project, especially in this continent, but beyond, you find either a Ghanaian consultant, a Ghanaian specialist somewhere solving other people's problems. Whether you are in South Africa, whether in Eastern Africa, Zambia, there's a Ghanaian consultant, Ghanaian specialist, all over. And I come back home and ask myself, you travel outside and it's like this group of people called Ghanaian are superstar. Some people see us as superstars. Now, why is it that back at home, those superstars are not able to function? You start traveling, you go anywhere, and they tell you, oh, this is a Ghanaian, there's a Ghanaian, this including footballers. And I think we need to ask ourselves a fundamental question, that this country, who and where are our giants? Do we have giants in this country? Who are they? Where are they? There are people who are ready to help if they will be given space, if they will be recognized, if they will be encouraged. But I think people have wonderful ideas, but sometimes the system, because at the moment, it's like, it's not who you are and what you bring, but if you do what I want you to do, or if you belong to my camp. And there are people who cannot easily sell their consciences like that. If this is good, it's good. If it's not good, they'll tell you this is not good. In that case, if you not recognize them as a giant, they'll go elsewhere. And to me, it's one of the areas we must address. The politicization of every sector, that if you don't belong to my party, if you don't wear our colors, you are nobody. Even if we know you have the solution to the problem, you will not be invited. Or some people who may be our giant are also feel that because I'm not part of them, let me keep a distance. Elsewhere, they will always have neutral think tanks who are working like this energy. There are people who understand. There are Ghanaians all over who give them space. But such areas, we must give people space to work. And the politicians must allow such a giant to work for this country. But back to the fundamentals, maybe now we can't answer the question, because we don't know where are people, where are they? Where are Ghanaians? Where are they? And if you are planning for a group of people and basic data you don't have, you have a problem. So, and these things have been on the drawing board for how many years? We've started this registration and we throw it away. I have received this identification card, you receive it, they say go back, and it's not working. And you ask yourself, well, but maybe the process we have started today may get us there.
I'm going to take a break, and when we come back, I just still want to stay on this national ID thing to see if we can link it up to bank accounts and driving license and stream up. Will the plan, 40-year plan, think about something like this? Stay tuned. National Development Plan. We want it, we love it, it must stay, we must do anything for everybody to buy into. As Reverend said, whether you're in the trotro, driver, digging out a gutter, president, chief of staff, whoever you are, this is one thing that we need to buy into. Hold it so dear that the politicians can't tamper with it. And I'm sure we would develop quicker than even the 40 years if we all buy into it. But first of all, we are developing for a people. And we need to know where the people are, what they do, how much they earn. And we don't seem to, I don't know if we don't find it urgent or it's not a priority, but it's one thing that really bothers me, Doctor, that we haven't like an efficient ID system, because apparently in Togo, Ivory Coast and everywhere, they have an efficient ID system that the police can look and verify that, yep, Nana Sakwa, this is you. If we don't do that and we plan, is it going to be guesswork?
Well, I believe that data, individual data on your people, is the basic requirement for development. I mean, if you don't know who they are, if you don't know what they do, if you don't know where they stay, how do you plan? You give them something, and that is why there are instances where we've built markets at places and nobody is using them. There are places they are calling for market, and we are not building for them. There are instances we've built schools in certain villages. You go there, it's full of bush. I mean, nobody is there. There are places they need school, and we are not. So we need to have data, and I think that it shouldn't be data, one ID for driving license, one ID for your bank, one ID for even voter register. It should be one system, a very efficient one. It is cost effective, and it brings some form of uniformity, that this ID captures almost every detail we need. So if I type your name, Nana, I get the important things and I need, and this will help planning. So yes, I think all these data people, the Ghana Statistical Board, the National ID, even the Electoral Commission, they should come together. We should have a way of coming together to get a very unique ID for the Ghanaian. And I think that can form a basis for planning.
What is the fear? So I don't know if you've, maybe in your corridors or moving in the corridors or if you've heard any whisper. What is the fear?
Now, at the moment, I may not be able to pinpoint one thing, but anytime you have a weakness in the system, you can also convince yourself that somebody is benefiting from it. Now, for instance, I don't know, I'm just speculating, but the way our electoral system and the way voter registers are, and the way we can sometimes register minors and people who, whether they exist or they don't exist, but they can still vote somewhere, There are people who may be benefiting from this kind of system. So if you have a rigid system that you strike a code or some figures, and there's nothing you can do, you cannot add anything. Maybe sometimes some people say, be careful, because if you do this kind of things, then the holes are blocked. Because now you travel elsewhere. You don't even need to carry so many cards. You carry one, whether you use that card for insurance, your everything, social security and all that, your banks. We did everything about you. Now we wanted to do this national identification. I joined a long queue and all that, and even the card. They tell you go and collect it here, it's not ready, and all that, the frustration, So we need to. But even if somebody is benefiting from the lapses in the system, I don't understand how we explain it, unless somebody wants me to believe that it creates space for somebody to benefit from the weakness in the system, But we need to solve that problem. But I want to believe, to me, today was very hopeful. And I pray that we will sustain it. Everybody. And I will wish all the politicians will talk to their people, the parties, especially the two main political parties in this country. You know, that their members must also appreciate what it means to have a national dream, a national vision, so that they know where their manifestos must stop to allow the national vision to continue. Because if they give us impression that what they want, you know, either from the voters register, what they want from the plan is what must dominate everything, in no time everybody will want to throw away and disconnect from this. So the food soldiers and their people must know that party work stopped here for national interests to continue, and you should not color national interest in any political government. Even if your political party is coming from heaven, you should not put that garment on national interest, so that we solve national problem. Now look at us. If this country, we can construct road in the night, if we can raise electricity pole in the night, then why should we wait for by-election before we do that? Why? Why?
All developments are geared towards.
So when is now all our development patterns are election driven. It's election driven, including even appointment. To the extent that now, if somebody is not performing and you want to take the person out, then his or her people will say that if you take our countryman out, we won't vote for you. And that is a good reason to put that person who is not effective and efficient there, because we will lose votes. So appointment, and where like my brother was saying, that sometimes we put certain developmental facilities to places where actually the need may not be so paramount, but because somebody wants to win votes. You see, so if we mean business with ourselves, and this process that we initiated today, the politicians, and it's not the big people, but their foot soldiers and their commentators and their people who go on air must draw a line between what is a national vision, national interest, and what is party interest. And they should not put party interest and party government on national interest. And therefore, if we as a people want to do this data, national identification, you know, and even somebody thinks, this is sometimes the challenge we have. Because if somebody thinks that this national identification will not help me in whatever way, there's a way they'll frustrate it. I can't have any reason why we can't have it. I can't have it.
If you know, I had power in this board, I choose two. Number one will be the ID system. Number two will be education, and then we will vote and see what will be number three. What would be yours?
I think I will think the basic one is the fact that let's get everybody involved. I mean, that is it. If we satisfy that, and we know that this is a national goal we all want, and this is the Ghana we all want to see and we all want to build, we are getting involved. I think that will be the basic one.
I have a feeling now, if you go out and ask people what their priorities are, education will probably come number three, where jobs will be number one, because the fight for survival now is too high. Yeah. But I think it will be risky, because I think that the caliber of people we are churning out of schools are just too dangerous. They are time bombs, and that, you know, education should be looked at as a matter of urgency. Yeah, education, I think agricultural modernization, energy. And I'm saying energy, not because that's what the country drives on.
Yes, because we also have a vision. Even I think the national development, we are looking at how we will industry. In fact, life after oil, how industries will carry Ghana, how we can build companies. to transform the agricultural output to something meaningful for us to export. How we will even minimize our import bill so that the CD and will be stable and all. So some of these things rely on industrialization, and energy is very important for industrialization. So agriculture, modernization, education, and they are all important. Health. So I think that we should have a holistic plan that will build the Ghana we want.
Reverend, one thing that has to appear on the list is our psyche.
In fact, when you asked him that question, he was talking about, I said, to me, the starting point should be the mindset. The mindset. And then you hit it. The mindset is wrong. Now doctors are on strike. And now it's becoming political thing. Somebody will go on there and say, Ghana Medical Association, all of them, or 90% of them, belong to Party X. And so now, such a serious thing, people are dying, quickly becomes political thing. You know, if there's anything we need to work up quickly, is the mindset, national values, national philosophy, national ideologies. At the moment, we are not getting it right, to me, at all. If there's something wrong, now I hear there's a boat somewhere in the village somewhere. They have MPP boat and they have NDC boat. And when people go, and even whether NDC boat is empty or and they know this one is full,
yes,
they will not go into it because it is NDC.
It's very true.
And if we don't work on the national mindset, the psyche of our people, we will construct rules and all that. We will not go anywhere. The mindset now, and if there's something the politicians have maybe succeeded, is that effort of breaking this country into, especially NDC MPP. That thing must stop for sound ideology and sound mindset to rise.
Thank you very much. But we'll continue this discussion. We'll try and get Dr. Nimoy Thompson, so that we can hear, how they are going to tackle this vision, and most importantly, what can we do to help or buy into it? So we'll try and get him and continue this. I want to say thank you very much to Jennifer Jane and Ni Jani, who did the production. Thank you to Tantis Fashion, who supplies me the shirts for the show. And they are on 024-366-2001. 024-366-2001. Thank you very much, Doctor. And thank you very much, Dr. Reverend. Tomorrow we'll be back to do this all over again. My name is Nana Sakwa.